Good afternoon. This is WVUD and WVUD HD1 Newark FM. WVUD is hosting some very special guests from Kofi Baker's Psychedelic trip. Ken Dubroff, one of WVUD's amazing station members, has the honor to interview Kofi Baker and his bandmates Scott and Kris. Ken, take it away.
Awesome. So how y'all doing? So
Hello.
Hey, Ken.
I wanted to ask, so how long have you guys been together as a group? Because I think Christopher mentioned this isn't the first time you guys have played together. I was wondering how long have you guys been together?
No, this will be the last time we play together.
Yeah, just this show, the Friday show, though, like not even the rest of the tour after
Yeah.
that. Yep.
Yeah, this is it. This is the last time we're going to see each other on this Zoom video. I don't know. How long have we been together, Scott? How long?
I met you just over 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And then you guys took a little break. Also, thanks for having us, Ken. Thanks for getting us on the station here.
No thanks for me.
Yeah, only thank you for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only from Kris. He's the only one that thanks anybody.
And then Scott, you weren't doing as many of the gigs with Kofi because I started the first tour I did with Kofi, and we actually played the Kennett Flash and a couple of the other spots from the tour coming up in spring of 2018. So 8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Spring. And then Scott, you've been back with us for 4 years now, dude. I think.
You tell me.
I think that's pretty accurate. After
I think it's more the fact that I try and find the best musicians around to play with me, and Scott's always playing with other people. So I was like, "Please, Scott, what about me?" And he finally took pity on me and said, "Okay, I'll play some gigs with Kofi." I think he liked it.
None of this is true. I like being here as much as humanly possible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what are the other groups you guys are in? Because I think Christopher said you had a band, and I think Scott said you've played with a lot of other people. I'm wondering who you guys play with.
So yeah, I do my band called Stop Drop Rewind. It's like a modern progressive kind of thing, and I also freelance quite a bit around the Chicagoland area. So I do a couple of different corporate bands based out of there, and then my buddy Nick Kazonis has he does like R&B, like classic soul and like some blues type tunes too. So I got, and then I get around stylistically. Me and my other friends also ran the North Indiana's longest running jazz jam for almost 10 years out here in the area. So I get a good variety of music and stuff. And Scott does quite a bit as well.
Yeah, I play in a rock and roll band called Backyard Tire Fire that used to tour a lot, and we don't tour as much anymore, but we just recorded a brand new album and we're out and about. I play with Cesar Rosas. He's a founding member of Los Lobos. He has a side project called Cesar Rosas and the Chi-Town Playboys. I do a bunch of freelance stuff, and then I work with some jam band people. There's a fiddle player by the name of Allie Crawl, who's she's kind of like Dwayne Allman on fiddle. And we have a thing called Allie and the Night Crawls. And then similar to Kris, I freelance a bunch of stuff as well.
Nice. So for Kofi, I feel like this is a pretty obvious question, but I just want to ask you. So tell me a little bit about how you got into drumming.
I don't know. I've been playing drums since I was 3. I've been playing drums my whole life. That's all I've ever done. Yeah. So, I mean, I did my first album when I was 14, playing with some people. I joined Jack Bruce's band, did Budapest when I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
Then joined Steve Marriott's band, Humble Pie. It's called the Next Band. I joined his band when I was 19. And then did the Jonas Hellborg, Sean Lane CD when I was 24. Yeah. And that was the end. Got into Fusion, and that was it. That's the last time I've ever been seen in the public again. By lots of people, anyway. I mean, I've done Fusion gigs where there's 2 people and a dog, maybe a cat. Yeah. So that was the end of my career. The one drummer did this write-up after the Jonas Hellborg, Sean Lane album, saying, "Kofi's on the map now. He's surely arrived." Well, I moved to Colorado, and that was the last anybody heard of me. I've never been in not one drummer since.
That's awesome, man. Well, tell me a little bit.
Kids do not play Fusion. Do not play
has-
music
tho-
that people
that
want
record-
to hear. Not
That
that
record has like a
musicians
cult following.
Well, the fusion's
Yeah.
cool, man. Like Alan Holdsworth, like the stuff
Yeah.
he's doing,
Yeah,
like
but-
stuff he did. That stuff's awesome, man.
Right, but the only people in your audience are musicians, and musicians don't have any money.
Yeah.
So they're not going to buy your merch. They're not going to have any money.
Well, that's awesome, man. So, well, tell me more about some of your influences. I know, obviously, your father has influenced you a great bit, but who else is it?
He
I'm sorry?
did. Yeah, he didn't want me to play drums. He wanted me to, play polo. So I'm not sure. He just told me not to play drums, and he taught me some stuff when I was 14, like very badly, like fear. If I got it wrong, I mean, I learned to read music in 3 days from scratch, and if I had to get it right, if I got it wrong, I got beaten. I mean, I got it literally drummed into me with a drumstick on my head. So. I mean, I turned up to Italy with all my 2S drumsticks. If you're a drummer, 2S's are like telephone poles. They're big.
Yeah.
And he took all my drumsticks and put them in the stufa, which is a cooking fire in Italy. And that's what my dad did, and gave me these little matchstick sticks and said, "This is what you'll play with." So my dad didn't really, it was his way. He wanted me to play drums exactly how he did it. And I, didn't really want to do that. I wanted to play other stuff. So,
Yeah.
I was into Terry Bozzio, influences Bozzio, Vinny, Gene Krupa, anybody that was, and Bozzio and Vinny, because I was into Zappa, I got into fusion, which was a bad mistake. Do not get into fusion. So, yeah, I mean, all fusion will do for you is make you poor and make you play too much and overplay everything and not ever be able to make a living in the music business. So, yeah, don't do it.
All right. Well, I have a question.
All right, good talk, guys. We'll see you next time.
I got another question from another student who submitted. So this is from Ryan, and he said,
Ryan.
How easy or difficult was it to shake off being the son of Ginger Baker and sort of forming your own creative path?
Well, get into fusion.
Yeah.
I think I explained that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose that's why I got into fusion, because I was so insecure. I wanted to be like, people would be like, Ginger Baker's son, let's see how good he is. What can you do?
Yeah.
So I practiced my off for like years. Steve Merritt told me not to. He said, look, keep it simple. So while I was with Steve, I was practicing, but I wasn't like totally like using all my technique all the time. When I was playing with shows, I was playing for the music.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen when you get into fusion. So you don't play for the music anymore. So that's I think that was my problem early on is I just thought I had to be really, really good, and I was always trying to prove myself. And then someone came up to me. I was playing a baked potato in Hollywood, and somebody came up to me and said, "We can see that you're a good drummer. You don't need to prove yourself with every bar." And I was like, "Wow, okay." And that's what made me quit fusion.
I can definitely pick up some of the fusion, and maybe even like, since you mentioned Gene Krupa, some of that big band stuff, because I was listening to some of your recordings, some of the videos, and I've heard another recording you were playing. What was it? You're doing a Cream experience in Bremen, and I heard a lot of those fills. You're doing some crazy like double kick stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, do you have any like metal influences? Because I felt like I heard a lot of that in there.
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, I joined a heavy metal band because they were paying me at the time. It turned out her husband, this lead singer's husband, was the head of the California chapter Hell's Angels, and he didn't like me. So my heavy metal experience was very bad. It was playing really fast music. My dad actually came to a gig when I was playing in his heavy metal band. He goes, "Put your hi-hat on a 2 and a 4. I want to hear the jazz sticking." I'm like, "It's not going to work in a heavy metal band, Dad. It's not going to work." But anyway, so after that, and after being held up by the wall by my neck, 6 feet in the air by a Hell's Angel guy telling me that I was cheating, I was like flirting with his wife or something. I was 16 for sake. So yeah, after that was I didn't want to really do heavy metal again after that.
Yeah.
Well, Ginger was an early originator with the double kicks too. I mean, and obviously
Yeah.
a lot of heavy metal bands were influenced by Cream.
Well, the first double kick, there was Baby Dodds. There was a couple of jazz players doing double kicks, and it was like a really kind of like, rare thing. And then my dad took it to rock music because my dad was a jazz player. So we started in jazz, started with the one kick, and then he just, moved into the rock thing and took all that jazz left foot technique and put it onto the kick drum. And that's what a lot of drummers don't realize today. The metal drummers and the double bass drum drummers today have learnt by listening, and they've listened to the music, and they lead with their right foot. So the double bass drum's all right, left, right, left, right, left.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if you go to a jazz player, like all of the jazz players, their left foot's playing eighth notes, up notes, or downbeats. So you take that, you put it on the kick drum, and then your right foot just plays around it. So your 16th notes, you don't have to learn anything new.
Yeah.
Now, if a heavy metal double bass drum player that leads with their right foot wants to play eighth notes with their left foot and play something, they have to learn a whole new thing.
Yeah.
For someone like me and my dad, on the people that invented double bass drum playing, led with their left foot because they just took the hi-hat pattern and put it on the bass drum.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot more simple, and it makes you have a lot more stuff to play because you can play all the stuff around the eighth note with your right foot and make way more interesting patterns.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a book called The Forgotten Foot, which explains how my dad brought double bass drum into rock music by the exercises he taught me.
Yeah.
So that's a really good book to get if you want to learn it. So it's just jazz players had that left foot. So I think the double bass drum thing was just my dad taking that left foot technique, putting it onto the bass drum, and it became a big thing. If you listen to a lot of the Cream songs, those bass drum patterns that people try and copy are actually not complicated. They're the left foot just playing an upbeat, or the left foot playing a downbeat, and the right foot just playing a simple pattern around it.
Yeah.
It makes a complex pattern, but it's not really that difficult. And then there's got these double bass drum metal players trying to work everything with the right foot and do all these patterns when they're actually making it a lot more difficult for themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sure probably Vinny even leads with his left foot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure those guys, but I know like all the jazzers that play double bass drum all lead, and I lead with my left foot, and my dad led with his left foot. So there you go.
Yeah. I saw you were playing with Vinny Appice, and it maybe want to ask you, have you ever gotten a chance to play with Carmine Appice?
Yeah, well, there's a video that was on YouTube that my manager took of me playing with both of them at the Arcada Theatre. And it was a really good video, but unfortunately, my manager died, and his dad erased everything. So that video's gone, unless someone downloaded it. But there's a video of me and Appice, both the Appice brothers, playing the Arcada all together, playing a three drum thing. So if anybody's got that video out there, or if the Arcada still has it, I'd like to see it because it was really good video. So yes, I played with both of them.
That was right about when I joined up with Kofi and started doing a lot more of and I remember that because your manager was in poor health, and then I think
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
Steve Symes. Great guy.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Kofi, I was with Steepwater on Saturday, which that was the main band Steve managed. We were talking about him. I should check with them because they're friends with his family. Like that video could exist.
Well, I tried to get hold of his dad to get it, and his dad said it's all gone.
Oh, okay.
Because I spoke to his dad. His dad said he wrote, because Sweetwater was really pissed off too, because he erased everything. He erased all the contacts, all the gigs. I mean, Steve said to me, going in for a double lung transplant, he said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll be out in 3 months. We'll all go everything together." He never came out from there. And I think, who was the guitar player with Sweetwater?
Jeff Massey.
Okay, I think it was him or one of the other guys. But one of them, was saying, they were kind of a bit bummed because they lost all the contacts and lost all the videos as well. So you can ask, but I think it's all gone. I think his dad erased everything. He said it got hacked.
Yeah.
He said his phone got hacked and they erased everything.
That's a bummer. He was a beautiful dude.
Yeah, because I never got to meet him, unfortunately. The only way I've interacted, and that's what made me think about this, is like, that's why some of you guys were asking about like the touring schedule has been somewhat intermittent, is because like this band like lost like everything when that happened. And Kofi was waiting for him to get better for like a while, which obviously makes like a lot of sense when you work with a guy for a long time, and he was in pretty poor health. That's a lot of lungs to try and transplant.
He got me. Yeah, I mean, he got me signed to SRO, which is a really good agency. And right when he died, this guy Simon took over and took the agency and made it Sons of Cream. But originally it was my Kofi Baker's Cream Experience, I think. Then it was Kofi Baker's Cream Experience, I think it was called. And obviously I've put my band together several times and it keeps turning into Sons of Cream. But this band is not Sons of Cream. Nope. This is us. This is me, Kris, and Scott. And we should actually have a name that's not got Kofi Baker in it, maybe.
Are you still doing anything with Sons of Cream?
Not anymore. We did an album. They might have a tour in next year for a couple of weeks, but it's just difficult because they're in England. So it's we can't really get together and rehearse or do stuff. So it's when we get together, it's really just we book a month tour of like theaters. They fly in, we just do a month tour, and then they fly back.
Yeah. I have another student submitted question I think I'd like to ask. So this is also from Ryan. You've collaborated with a lot of different musicians from a lot of different areas of rock. Has there been any sort of challenge or surprise about working with different musicians from different backgrounds?
Well, I mean, Steve Gadd was the most amazing person I've ever met. I couldn't believe he was such a humble, nice person. I thought he was going to be a bit more ego, but his playing is so beautiful. The guy is going to be beautiful. So I was a bit surprised how nice he was to me. He was like such a nice guy. Steve Marriott was a really nice guy. He did some surprising things, I mean, he was a really nice guy. He was a bit of a nutcase, but he was a beautiful person. So, I mean, I suppose, I've met some really great people, and they've all been really nice. All these people that I thought would be, were actually turned out to be really nice people, except for my dad, of course.
He's and Scott probably has a lot of thoughts on this too. It does, at least at the level that Kofi's talking about, especially, and just like when you try to find people who you make good music with, it's sort of at a certain point doesn't matter what the style is anymore, as long as as Kofi said, like, oh, that person's really like beautiful person, like Steve, and so his music is very beautiful, like, or we had a good time, me and Steve playing together, like. It doesn't really, like, as long as you're listening and trying to create like something positive, like a good musical moment with them, or something positive and like good energy with them. It almost doesn't matter what the style is. Like, obviously you probably should have heard it before, but even if you haven't and you like try your best, most people aren't gonna give you a super hard time. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like if I'm playing with really good musicians, I don't really care what music I'm playing. Because if I'm playing with great musicians, it's fun and it's great. That's why, playing with Scott and Kris is really good, because they're probably the best musicians in Chicago that I could find. No, they're probably the best musicians out there, because I played with loads of people around here, and these guys are in the top tier of people, and that's why we tour and we have a great time when we play. If I play with musicians that are limited or can't lose time, people have told me, I've played with musicians that said, Kofi, man, you went out of time there. You went out of time. I'm like, okay, I went out of time. I did a drum solo with Eric Clapton, and Willie Weeks played 5 all the way through my drum solo in time. Well, I didn't even know he was playing along with me. I couldn't even hear him. So hang on a minute. And with Eric, I was surprised with Eric, because I thought Eric was, a simple musician. My dad always told me Eric had perfect time. Eric's perfect time. And then I realized playing with him, because I threw all these polyrhythms at him thinking, Eric said, well, what key are you going to have to come out at the end of Press Rat? And I said, look, I'll go into this insane polyrhythm. You won't, you'll see it. It'll be so obvious. You'll hear it. I went into that polyrhythm live, and he didn't even bat an eyelid. I had to keep trying and play fills. If you watch the live, the reunion, no, not the reunion, my dad's memorial, you'll see I'm playing tons of fills to try and get Eric to come back in, because he had such great feel and such great timing. I could play anything and he wouldn't get lost.
Yeah.
And that tells you that when you're playing with really good musicians, they're listening. They've got ears and they're listening to you. And if you're all listening to each other and you're all on the same page, you're going to travel, you're going to be, and that's what we do, me and Kris and Scott. We just go off and no one knows where we're going to go. We just listen to each other and we follow each other's little bits and end up going traveling, but we don't lose each other. We always know where we are because we're listening, and that's all it is ears. The bad musicians, in my experience, just don't have good ears. They're not listening. They're listening to themselves, not other people. So you don't have to be technically good to have that timing thing. You don't have to be a shredder or technically. All you have to do is be able to have good ears and be able to understand music, and that's all it is.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I mean, I think it's, it's for me, I think it's really amazing to see, groups, especially 3-piece groups that are so tight, you know what I mean? And almost have like a unusual ability to understand what everybody's doing and like come in and do something crazy or all, stop on a dime or something like that. You know what I mean? It's really amazing to see stuff like that,
I mean, obviously, obviously you need technique, you need a good technique to be able to express yourself and follow that stuff, but it's not all, technique. So,
right.
Sorry,
absolutely.
I would just like to add to that, though, that there was a gig that we played, and one of the things I think all of us like to do as a musician is to soak up other people's knowledge and learn. And we had this jam going on once, and there was this thing that like it wasn't quite connecting, and I could hear like something was rubbing the wrong way or not there, and eventually we got there. And so because of Kofi's knowledge, and I asked him afterwards, I said, "Hey man, what were you playing there? Because I couldn't quite grasp it." And he goes, "Oh, I was just trying to find one."
Okay, let me just make this sound not quite so bad. I have a bad back, so I do the gig so that my back doesn't hurt. So I might have done one too many that gig.
Hey, you mean when you counted off a 4/4 song in 6 in San Diego at the
I've done that too. Yes,
that's awesome. So so I saw you did a tour. It was the Extreme Guitar Tour, I think it was, with Uli John Roth. And how was that? Because it's cool that you got to play with Uli John Roth, because I think he's a very, very underrated guitar player. I don't think a lot of people talk about him.
I'm about to shatter everything you just.
All right.
So yeah, I ended up joining Uli John Roth's band for a tour because I played with him. He played with me doing some Cream stuff, right? And it was really good. We jammed and it was great. And I was like, Uli, you're fucking great. It's really good. And then he goes, well, I need a drummer for a tour. And I said, well, I'm available. So I joined the tour. I got fired like 4 or 5 times on that tour. Wow. Eventually, because basically Uli's good at improvisation and jams, but he's not really a listener. He's not listening to anybody else. So he just wouldn't listen to. I mean, you have to follow Uli, and it was just. For me, I would play different fills, like in the gaps, like and the bass player was this guy, I can't remember his name, Dean. He was the CEO for Dean Guitars or something. Anyway, really? He was like a big time, and he ended up playing bass with Uli John Roth just because of who he was. He wasn't a very good bass player, and he come up to me and goes, "Man, you keep losing me on those fills. Can't you play the same fill?" I'm like, "It's the same gap. If I go ba 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 or da 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 da, it doesn't matter."
Right.
But he couldn't get it, and Uli put me aside and said, "Yeah, Kofi, this is rock music. You got to play the same feel. I want you to play staccato, real precise. But. That's what I want to hear. German style drumming from you." And I was like, Uli, greatest respect. That was it. He asked me. He said, "Kofi, I need a drummer for Japan." I said, "Really?" what does it pay? He goes, it pays like $1,000. I said, okay, well, give me $5,000 and a first class ticket and I'll do it. He goes, I can't afford that. See you later. So that was the last time I spoke to Uli.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, he's okay. He's just a bit sorry. He's not like a really like nice guy to hang out with. He's very egotistical.
Yeah.
Guitar player. I mean, that comes off in his playing. I mean, he's very about Uli. And I'm more like musicians that listen to everybody. I like to play with people that are a band player. Uli was more about, even a guitar player said to me, just don't listen, just play. That's what you have to do. You have to just keep playing and not listen to what's going on, because Uli was so loud for a start that, I had all my drums in every monitor, every side fill, and you still couldn't hear me. I still couldn't hear anything I was playing. So it was like, because I'm more of a jazz player, so I was the wrong fit for Uli. So it wouldn't be, I'm not saying Uli's bad. I'm just saying, yeah, I've played heavy metal, I played with Uli, but I'm more of a classic rock drummer than a heavy metal drummer.
Yeah.
I can do it, but I'm not, that's not really, if heavy metal was improvisation, I'd probably be fine with it. But I don't think heavy metal really improvises. Does it?
I mean, I guess, depending on how you look at it, I guess kind of like Sabbath, they're kind of jazzy.
Not the way that we do, though, where we like we'll either do it in like a more jazz oriented approach where like we take the form of the song and we'll play like the melody at the beginning or whatever, even like a pop, like I Can't Find My Way Home or something like.
Oh, I see what you're playing like a head and then you go into
we do the verse and the chorus twice at the top or something, and then we do some solos in the middle. And like sometimes it's just Scott, or sometimes we'll do bass and guitar, or we do drum breaks or whatever, just whatever we're feeling.
Well, you see, that's what Cream was.
Chorus at the end. Yeah,
that's what Cream. My dad said that they made a conscious effort when they made Cream to do commercial music, but they still kept the jazz thing where they did a head, and then they had let themselves have jams. Obviously, when they do the studio albums, there wasn't a lot of jamming, but live they basically they said. My dad said, he said this in interviews, that Eric didn't realize that he was actually in a jazz band, because they were playing blues, but they were playing, in a jazz format, like exactly what Kris said. Yeah.
And we'll get in like how a jam band would do it too, where you pick a sound or like a color or like a little riff or something, and then you build just to kind of a static jam. And as people introduce new ideas, it kind of goes that way too, which is not exactly how a jazz setting works. Well, we do that as well. Metal bands I haven't heard do as where the whole band is improvising, right? Like you might have a drum solo or like a guitar solo or something like that,
right.
But it just is a more composed style of music. Like a pop band also doesn't have the whole texture improvised the whole way through, even if there is a keyboard solo.
If you come to one of our shows and then you come to a show the next night, we might play the same songs. We change out the songs, but we play them differently every night.
Yeah.
The jams are completely different every night. And the songs, even though we're playing songs, we play them differently. We just play them how we feel them on the night. Obviously, Scott will sing the right lyrics, I hope. But he doesn't even. You don't really have to sing the right lyrics. What we're doing, Cream was about, and what we're doing, the psychedelic trip thing is about. It's about creating music on the spot, creating a new vibe on the spot. Obviously, we have to have songs that people can understand, but then once we get them in, then we take them out. So it's bring them in and then take them out.
I think that's what kind of makes this thing cool, is that it's not a recreation type of thing, that we're playing a lot of that music, and there's certain things that we hold kind of sacred, but what we also hold sacred is the spirit of what they started, which was to go out and improvise and to jam and create different things. And I think that's what kind of makes it a fun experience.
Yeah, that's really cool, because I feel like definitely at the late 60s into the early 70s, it's really amazing to see how many bands took so much influence from jazz, and a lot of just jazz players, or players that start out playing jazz going into rock, like Mitch Mitchell was a jazz drummer, and
Well, you
Bill
see,
Ward was
that
also,
that's what it was back then. You see, the
yeah,
music before classic rock was jazz. So
right.
those a lot of those musicians were jazz musicians coming to rock, and that's what made that rock so cool. And unfortunately, I think the people that then came after that and listened to rock, a lot of them didn't really like. I did a gig at a music school in Chicago. Was it School of Rock? And the student came up to me and wanted to learn this song. And I said, well, this song is just based on a rudiment. It's just a paradiddle. And they go, what's the paradiddle? I'm like, how long have you been taking lessons? 6 months? You drum lessons for 6 months and all you've learned is songs. And so they didn't learn, like I was taught all the rudiments and all of the stuff before that to learn. I'm not sure if a lot of these musicians did that. I think they just listened to the music and learned it by ear a lot of the time. So they've figured out how to play it their own way, which is great. I mean, touring with Sean Lane said, when you learn something, do it your own way, learn it your own way.
I didn't know you played with Sean Lane though. That's cool. That's really cool. I didn't know you played with him.
That was a great experience, and he was great ears, great improviser. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think the musicians of today may have missed that thing. I think if the musicians learned the jazz side and learned all that, and then brought it into, I think to be a good musician, you have to really engulf a lot of different styles. I think you have to learn, even if you don't like it. I mean, I've studied every style, metal. I played in country bands. I'm not really like country music that much, but I played in country bands. I've played every style of music and I've studied every style of music, even if I didn't really like it that much. I think that's important. And I think drummers of today need to have a little bit of jazz technique in them because that's the 4-limb drumming. If you're a 3-limb drummer, it's like driving an automatic car for 15 years and then getting in a stick shift. You can't do it. If you learn the stick shift from the beginning, then you can do anything. And that's why I think the drummers like Vinny and Bojo that came from that learned the jazz and the fusion are really good rock drummers. I mean, Vinny did a metal album, didn't he? Who did Megadeth or something? I think he did. So, if you can play jazz, you can play anything. So that's the thing. And so I just think that musicians today should look back and look at some of the older music and study their instrument. My dad, the School of Rock. So the School of Rock were teaching musicians how to play songs. So they're giving you a fish. Every time they're giving you a fish. My dad taught me how to fish. So my dad taught me the instrument. They said, look, just learn the instrument. So I learned playing drums. I didn't play along with any music. I don't remember ever playing. The drums are kind of allowed to play along with music when you're 15 and you've got a mono record player anyway. But so I didn't play along with music until I had to start learning songs. That's when I started playing. I always played just drums and learned to play the instrument. And when I practiced, it was always just practicing on what I needed to work on to progress my drumming. Yeah. So that's why I left School of Rock. I said, look, guys, your students are not going to be great musicians. You're just going to be able to play cover songs and that's it. You got to, so that probably, there you go. I don't know what the question I was answering. I've lost the thread of where I was going, but anyway.
I have some things to say about School of Rock, but I'm going to save them for another time. But
Skip, there's like a whole technological and like a cultural thing and or like economic thing at that time about like shifting into rock because like jazz was dry. Like we don't need to get into the podcast element though. But the only thing I would say to consider with that is it sounds probably obvious to you guys, and it's easy to say that now, Kofi. It was harder to hear all songs all the time before streaming existed. So like now it's like, oh yeah, people can just learn. And if you don't like jazz, but like going out and buying a record or like a CD of a song, a style you didn't like was a much bigger undertaking back in the day than it is now. Now I would absolutely agree with everything Kofi just said. And if you aren't at least passingly familiar with like most popular styles, you like are doing yourself a disservice as a player. And you don't have to love it, but like the information is so readily available that like you should at least understand like what a country drum groove and a funk drum groove and a rock drum groove and a jazz drum groove sounds. I mean,
when I was playing country, I had obviously got into fusion a little bit back then. So I was playing country and they gave me a drum solo. I'm in this country band and they're all line dancing at the point, and they gave me this drum solo. So I go into this drum solo. everybody stops dancing and just turns and looks at me. So I'm like, okay, back to boom, bada, bada, boom, bada, boom, bada, and I just went back to the dancing. So I just played boom, bada, boom, bada, boom, bada, boom. I just had to play that, just a few little fills in this boom, bada, boom. But that's, there you go, country music.
Yeah. Well, country guys are crazy. The country guitar players, insane. They do some really incredible stuff.
I like a lot of the melodies in country music. They have really nice melodies, and I like the slide. I like the steel guitar and the slide. I just think they need to just progress a little bit more. Just out. Some drum solos. Yeah, just put a drum solo in your band. It'd be fun.
So, I think we have another question from Ryan again, and this is regarding your.
You got to give me Ryan's address, so I go around and I get Ryan's phone number and beat him up. No, I'm only joking, Ryan. We love you.
Well, so you have you started a drumming school, correct? If I'm not mistaken. I did. Yeah. So he's asking, in your experience teaching, what has been the most important takeaways that you would pass on to somebody who's just getting to music or wants to pick up the drum kit? And I feel like we answered a little bit of that.
I mean, yeah, the teaching thing was really cool for me because when you're teaching, you have to learn ways to teach what you learned. So it makes you look at your playing differently, which was really cool. I think anybody who gets, wants to be a good musician should just do a little bit of teaching, obviously spread your talent, spread your stuff, but also just for yourself to look at your playing in different ways. That was just my take on my teaching thing. I taught the drum school in Orange for like 14 years. And it was a good experience. It just took me away from playing live because students have to have their weekly lessons. So I couldn't tour as much. And so that's why I had to stop. And also a guy moved in next door to me and told me I had to stop playing drums because it was keeping him up at night, even though it was a warehouse. So I had to move out of that place. Yeah, what was the question about drum teaching?
Oh, just back to that. What are some key takeaways you would pass on to people or someone just getting into drums?
Okay, well, first thing, most important thing, play an instrument because you want to play the instrument, not for money or fame. Because if you do it for money or fame, you're probably going to be disappointed. So that's the first thing. If you're getting into an instrument, get into it because you love the instrument and you want to play the instrument. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I would say, please learn your rudiments on any instrument. Just learn your basic rudiments, learn your scales, learn your rudiments. That is important. I mean, then you go to any music, but learn your rudiments and then learn your songs. It's that saying, give a man a fish or teach a man to fish. You want to be learning how to fish, not be given fish. So to do that, you need to basically learn your rudiments of your instrument, and that will allow you to be able to, stuff. So that would be the main things. And then just have fun. It's all about having fun, really. Yeah, exactly, yeah. If you're not having fun, what are you doing it for? Especially music. We don't get paid a lot of money. So it's not for the money. Don't do music for the money. Do it for the love. Because that's all you're going to get out of it most of the time.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, well, tell me a little bit about your kit. Tell me a little bit about that. What's your typical setup?
Well, I have a pretty big setup because when I was a kid, my dad left me. Well, he didn't leave me. He just left behind this kit that was this twirly Perspex kit, and I sold it to the Rock and Roll Hall of not the Rock and Roll of Fame. I sold it to the restaurant. What's that? Hard Rock Cafe restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
So if you go to the Hard Rock Cafe, some of them have some of those drums I used to have in their place. Anyway, so I sold that kit for like $3.5 grand, and we were broke. So my mum bought a fridge and two sofas, or one sofa, I think, a fridge and one sofa, two fridges in my a fridge and a sofa, and the rest of the money I bought this kit, and I went to Ludwig. The Ludwig factory, and they gave me this deal of like cost. So I got like an 8, a 10, a 12, a 13, a 14, a 16. I got like 5 toms and a kick drum. Eventually, I was like, I need to. This is less drums. I ended up getting an extra kick drum and taking a tom-tom out. So I actually still have the same amount of drums, but I have all even sizes, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 as my toms, a 20-inch bass drum, a 22-inch bass drum, different size kick drums, because my dad would say, if you're going to have two kick drums, why would you get the same size? You get different sounds. So I was like, yeah. So I got different sizes. I noticed later on in that band he was with, what's the band, Scott, the really good band? I'm blanking on the name.
Masters of Reality.
Masters of Reality. So I noticed in Masters of Reality, he got a drum kit and he got two 20-inch kick drums. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Dad? He told me you want different sizes. He tuned them different. But it's like, whatever. I think he was just getting old and he wanted small drums. Yeah, so that's my kit. And my kit is Bill Ludwig III. So it's the guy who built the drums for my dad. His son is building the drums for me. So it's really cool kind of like stuff. And when they came up to me, they said, we have the ingredients of your dad's kit. You know, my dad still has what they built your kit as. And Ludwig don't have that, because when they sold Ludwig, they didn't sell all of the ingredients. They sold the name, basically. So Ludwig is just a new company using the name. They didn't sell all the secrets that they had. So when they built me this kit, it's like, it sounds just like my dad's drums. It's the same shells. It's silver sparkle. It's the same look. So it's, and the manager at the time made me put Kofi Baker on the kick drums, the same as my dad at the first thing. So it's kind of like a Ginger Baker on steroids kit, because it's, bigger, little big drums. I have, more longer kick drums. I have 18s instead of 16s and 14s. So it's a little bit deeper sound. Yeah. So a Zildjian cymbals, obviously, because I've been endorsed by Zildjian since Steve Marriott. Veta drumsticks, Humsenberg cases. Now, Humsenberg drum cases and guitar cases don't get the love. They don't. They keep all your equipment safe, and then no one sees them. So I like to say Humsenberg cases because they're really good cases, and drum cases are important because of protected drums.
Exactly.
And aquarium drum heads. I think aquarium are the best. Do the tap test with any heads. Put aquarium up against any other head, and you'll hear what I'm saying or hearing. Anything else you need to know? What else am I playing that I need to say?
The key to this setup is having a bass player who knows your setup and is basically your drum tech and just carries all your giant drum kit around all the time. Yeah, for bass players, what you want to learn, back to the what should you learn question, is how to set up drums, how to carry drums, how to tune drums, which cymbals go where. These are all the important, that's like the first 3 years of bass school.
Yeah, otherwise you get fired.
Yeah. And then I'm up in the truck every night with double kits.
Actually, Kris got fired from the Music of Cream band because his bass solo was better than the guitar player's bass solo, and the audience cheered more for Kris, and the guitar player got and said, "You're fired."
It was in my defense, it was supposed to be a bass solo at that time. I didn't start doing a bass solo.
Your bass solo got a standing ovation, and his guitar solos didn't.
I know.
So every time Kris would do this great bass solo, I'm not going to say the name. The guy would go like this.
So now when I do the solos at the gigs, I turn around and Kofi gives me the.
Gives me the look. So don't do too good, Kris.
Yep.
Anyway. So yes, this band is a lot of fun. It's not like this is probably the most fun I have playing in a band, because we all like each other, which is very odd for a band. So we all like each other, and I went to Scott's birthday party. I didn't stick around for long, but I went to his birthday. I mean, these are guys. I went to Chris's wedding. These are guys
that I did not stick around for long.
I just don't stay very long.
He was like, "Where'd you have to sign the wedding, you have to sign the marriage certificate after you get married, and then you go hang out with everybody and drink a bunch of beers and do all this, whatever." I went to sign the thing, and I came. Yeah, I know you didn't, because you weren't getting married to me. I came back down. Where's Kofi? He left. He texted me like a couple days later. He was like, "I couldn't find you, so I left." I was like, "Dude,
what happened was like there was no one there that I knew, and I was and then the band started playing, and I was like, I didn't know anybody there. And I was just like, okay, I think, the band's playing. It's like they've got a band. I mean, I'm sure Kris won't miss me. He's getting married. I'm not his important thing. It's his marriage that's important. So I left.
I would like to point out at my birthday party, it was fairly similar. And there was like a jam and a bunch of really good Chicago musicians playing. And we started playing. And like 2 songs in, I was like, we're going to bring up my good friend Kofi Baker. And then somebody grabbed my shirt and they're like, oh, yeah, he split.
He's gone.
Well, again, the band started playing and everyone was having a good time. And I was like, oh, it's all good. I don't need to be here. So I left.
Are you a chaperone for my wedding? They
seem like I showed up. Whatever. Anyway, but you look very good at your wedding, Kris. It was
thank
very good.
Thank you.
And Scott, you look great on your birthday too.
Oh, thank you.
So my point is that we get along. We hang out with each other if we can. It's not like other bands where you kind of see the musicians at the gig and then you don't really want to see them again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
But there you go. I mean, sometimes that's good with playing. I mean, sometimes like hating the other person makes you not play so well with them, or maybe I don't know. I mean, my dad and Jack used to have big arguments and then play great together.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it may not help musically, but it helps off stage for sure.
Yeah.
It helps like when you're not playing.
And I mean, you spend the majority of your day not playing when you're traveling, so it's easier to like not hang. It's easier to not have a good hang if you're in like a pickup band or like you play weddings or something, because then everybody goes home. But
right.
We're going to be. This isn't a super long run, but we did a couple weeks last time we all went out, and like if it's not. Because, I mean, even if for us, we play longer than most bands because we do like 2.5 hours a night. Fast math, like that's 21.5 hours of the day that you like have to hang out with these people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious about what are your guys' rigs? What do you guys usually run for a typical show? Or what do you guys run in general now?
Yeah.
Well, for this stuff, guitar wise, there's usually some form of Les Paul, and on this tour, because we're doing some kind of different stuff, I have a Les Paul 12 string that they only made, I don't know, like 200 of them, and then the bulk of the stuff, there's a handful of pedals, but the bulk of the stuff, the amps, I have this guy from St. Charles, Illinois, had a company called Chicago Blues Box, and he used to build Buddy Guy stuff. And he handmade my amps, and they're
wow.
fantastic. Yeah, it's really like old school. Like
that's awesome. Yeah.
Mine is not as old school. One of the things that Scott said is cool about the band, and that I also like, is that it's not we're not like a dress up band, but that also means the gear isn't. So like I try to have the bass sound good with Scott and Kofi's drumming and guitar playing that they're doing, and with the tones and stuff, but also still sound like kind of how in a middle ground. So like I'm not doing I'm not playing like a short scale, and I don't have like the EB. He's got the smaller pickup in the back. Is that an EB3, Scott, that Jack Bruce was playing?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
mean, I know, and he played a Fender. He played the Fender 6, like the 6-string with the smaller. It's bass, but it's like a smaller guitar strings.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is Cream didn't even try to recreate what they did.
Right. Yeah. I'd rather be comfortable. So I play gear that I'm like, it's just like my main setup all the time, that I'm just like comfortable on, and then I make tonal and really just like idea and like hand position, like technique adjustments to fit the sound of the band more than like gear adjustments.
Well, I should add that's like the rig that I bring on the road is what I naturally play, and it gravitates well towards this, but it's not a costume.
Oh yeah. Sorry, that was not a dig at Scott's
No, I didn't take it that way.
There. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Clarifying.
Yeah, no, I hate Scott's rig, but I try to make it sound good. In case that wasn't clear, then Scott is more naturally in this kind of style. Like a lot of it is stuff that he would have grown up with, where I came up in some in some different styles, and then have found more of an appreciation for this music, like playing, like having to play it, and then like learning the history of it and being experienced to like people who were like there, like at the shows. We meet a lot of people who saw Cream and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I get to hear their stories about them. And obviously I meet people who've been seeing Kofi for 10 plus years. And so it's like, it's a different community. And just like they said with playing with other people, like if the community of people that we play for is also like really positive and welcoming, that makes us more likely to be like, this is like I always look forward to these shows, even when we just do like a one-off in the because I know that it's me people who love the music that we're playing, but because it's about exploration, they like understand it from the original perspective. So we're never going to play a note for note recreation of the thing, but they're always going to be super positive about it because they understand it's about exploration, that we're trying to push ourselves creatively the best that we can, and that they just like, they're just there to have a good time, and they want to hear, they just love, and they have loved live music since the 60s or 70s, which is a great audience of people to play for, right? They understand the vibe, and I'm playing a Music Man Sterling and my Fender Jazz through a Mesa M6 carbine. I have the Geddy Lee signature preamp in my rack and a rack-mounted compressor through an Ampeg 410 HE. So it has the more aggressive tweeter in it. It's basically half of a 8x10, but it throws more top end if I need it.
Until he blows it up, of course.
Until I blow it up. I did blow up the amp at Kofi's practice space the other day.
Yeah, he blew up one of my amps already.
Whoops.
But it's really cool you say about the exploration, because that's kind of, I mean, that's what those bands did back in the day anyways, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Cream with their blue stuff, you know, like Spoonful, you know what I mean? They kind of changed the song. They kind of made it their own, you know what I mean? And they played around with it, and you know, it's just a really, you know,
right.
Really
well,
cool
I mean, when
you know?
Cream did Crossroads, they did it completely different.
Yeah.
When they did,
Exactly.
you know, they did a bunch of covers that they really made their own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think you should do if you're covering a song. Why would you do it like the band? Why would you try and copy the band? I mean, I'm all for, if you're going to do a cover song, change the tempo, change stuff. You can mess it up a little bit. Obviously, you've got to have the same melody, but you don't have to have it in the same way. You can play a melody in 6 or 4. And I think I've heard some people that have covered Sunshine. A woman covered Sunshine, did it as a jazz thing or something. It was really cool. It was the swing. So yeah, I mean, you can really, I think that, you know, music is personal. Music shouldn't be like I'm trying to, because say the drummer or the guitar player does a solo in a song, and that's his solo, that comes from his thing, and you're playing that song. Are you going to copy that solo? You shouldn't copy his solo. You should, I mean, if he hits on the melodies of the song, touch on those melodies, but it should be your own solo, because that's him playing his thing. You might be a better guitar player than him, so you might be able to play a better solo.
We encounter, like, we get people who, you know, you see comments like, oh, they didn't play this like exactly this way, or this tone doesn't sound, we're not them. And you can hear Cream, like, we added another blues stepping out, and from the same live sessions, you can hear them play 2 completely different different versions of the same tune, like the same day or the same week, or like it was like super close together that they did these. So we generally don't worry, like, if people you can't please everybody all the time. And like it's Kofi's band, but it's our band. I'd rather have us be really happy with what we did creatively, and then you naturally, if you like what you're doing and it's really honest art, you're going to collect people who resonate, that it speaks to them, right? You can't. So
I mean, just on the fact that Kris was saying about the music, if you listen to "Sunshine of Your Life," the "Sunshine of Your Love," the recording, it goes da 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 ba. But it's on the beat. You listen to the last concert they played, it's da da da. They're pushing it. So they've actually changed the chorus of "Sunshine of Your Love" between recording it and playing it live. So that just gives you, you know, they didn't. Yeah. It wasn't. They weren't trying to play. My dad said to me he would be for himself if he played the song the same way twice.
Yeah.
So that gives you an understanding of how they went into those gigs. They went into those gigs, you know, with a different mindset every gig. You know, trying to investigate what would come up on that night. You know, see what happens.
Which is why we don't sweat it. So, like, if you want it to be exactly the same, this is not the show. This is not the show for you, as your record from growing up. But if you're open to guys having fun, it's a new experience, and people playing at least guitar and drums at the top level of what you can, and some okay bass, but really good guitar and drums and stuff too. Like, then I highly recommend it for people because it's going to be.
Well, I think even if you're expecting to hear a Cream song exactly like the radio or like the record, you're still going to get that because we're still hitting the main parts of the song. I mean, we're still hitting the main melodies and we're still singing the words. So people say to me, even though we're not trying to be like Cream, that they close their eyes and they're back at a Cream concert, because it's the vibe that we're doing. We're giving off that vibe, that improvised 60s vibe of all that stuff. We don't only play Cream, we play Bowie, Beatles, and what else? I don't know, all kinds of weird stuff. So, Hendrix, yeah. I mean, so yeah. So
I'm going to be throwing in some random like 70s and 80s tunes probably because there's other songs that we like. So
and also in the jams we just end up in some other random song sometimes.
If somebody were interested in getting tickets to one of your shows, where would the website be to check that out at?
Kofi's preparing his glasses. Of course, KofiBaker.com is always a great place to find out.
Yeah, I think you can get tickets. I think you can get tickets from the bands in town. I think it goes to the website of the venue, correct?
Correct.
KofiBaker.com will send you to.
Also, Kofi's sister runs the Ginger Baker Facebook page, and she's very active, and the Kofi Baker Facebook pages as well, and his lovely lady friend Lisa and myself have also been tag teaming the Instagram. So there's a lot of videos, and then Nettie posts a lot of old pictures and stories on the Ginger Baker and Kofi Baker pages too. So if you're interested in Cream or just Ginger Baker or Kofi, both those are good resources, as well as the KofiBaker.com website.
Do you guys have any final thoughts or anything you want to add before we close out?
Like what my dad would say.
Yep. I knew it. Yes, well, a lovely to all of you guys as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Please just and go yourself.
We're excited for the tour, and we hope everyone off to the shows. And yes. So we'll see you out there on the road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to speak with us. This has been a really awesome
thank you. It was awesome. Thank you.
Great.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you for having us on, and hope to see you guys at a show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
totally.
Yeah, absolutely.